Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media here in Houston. We've just finished up a panel on the future of wind power, and I have with me Thomas Mehl. Is that right? Close enough. All right. With Vestas, who's joined us. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
And one of the things that intrigued me listening to the discussion in there, which was very lively, was the concept of standardization. And how does that apply to the manufacturing of wind components, and how will that impact the industry?
So basically, it started up as a PhD project, and I was kind of the mentor on that project within the offshore industry. And it has been running over the last 6 years, and now it's kind of matured. It was handed over. He passed his PhD, and now we started in a more brighter form with both on and offshore. So the target of this is within logistics to simply to standardize more within the industry, and it involves the big OEMs, so Vestas, and also Siemens Gamesa and LM, which is owned by G. And what we're trying to do is simply to find the sweet spot of standardization of equipment. So, and it's not really a competitive area at all for the wind manufacturers. So we simply want to standardize this within the industry, find good projects. We talk with EU funding. There's a lot of maritime funds in Denmark and in Europe that are willing to invest in this blue area, simply to get this rolling and get it more smooth in the operations.
So what would the benefits be to both logistics companies and specialized transporters?
It will definitely have a benefit. As I mentioned in the panel, that we will definitely looking to, from Vestas, we have a clear strategy from our management that we will go from where we own the equipment as basically have a capex on it. We would like to move it into an opex area where we were looking for investors, and there are a lot out there apparently. Also some of the big transport companies, they're willing to invest a lot of money in this equipment simply to buy it and then basically lease it out to any supplier. That could be any shipping companies. We've been talking to Maersk, DSV, some of the big companies. There are a lot of investment companies that live within leasing, and they simply want to lease it out to the OEM, so the trucking companies. So they also carry this operational cost, which is of course charged to us. So we know it's transparent in the market, and it's not reflected in the market. So if the market goes down, previously a lot of companies sadly went bankrupt because they were stuck with all this equipment, and there were no projects, and the market dropped. So I think to mitigate this is simply to move it in another direction. And also one of the advantages is the business model of doing this in a lease model is that these leasing companies can utilize the equipment much more than we can do as a company. This is simply not possible for Vestas. We only have Vestas turbines. I cannot go to Siemens and say, hey, do you want to use my frames? It will probably not work.
Probably not work. All right. So just quickly, how would you characterize the outlook for wind here in the U.S.? Onshore, will it continue to grow even though we have the phasing out of the tax credits?
Definitely, yes. I think there will be a small drop because the PTC, of course, is the icing on the cake. As I mentioned, is that actually wind, I think the USA Today I was in July this year, they had an article around that actually wind has beaten coal. So actually wind power is totally reduction of the PTC. It's not necessary. You can actually remove it and it's still competitive with a coal plant. So driving a wind turbine plant is cheaper than coal or nuclear. So and that's also why we are selling a lot of turbines in Mexico and in other areas where the money has not been there before, but simply because of the price has gone down on the turbines. It's simply more attractive to drive this. It's a cheap energy. It's good for the environment, which we love, and the cost is also down there. So and I think it will go even further down.
Excellent. Well, that is very optimistic and good news for all of our people here. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.